everybody. Welcome back to the Schlabcast. This is Hefe's week 17 pick'em. I cannot believe it's been 17 weeks already, and we only have 2 weeks to go. This is crazy. Getting right into it, it's Thursday. Thursday game was Jets at Browns. I picked the Browns. Obviously, they rolled. Jets couldn't do anything offensively. They turned the ball over a couple times. There was a pick six by Cleveland. Joe Flacco continues to deserve comeback player of the year. His first quarterback. The Browns to throw over 300 yards in 4 straight games. That's insane. They win 37-20. Interesting Saturday game here. Lions at Cowboys. Really tough pick. I'm going with Cowboys at home, 15 straight wins at home. It's hard to bet against that. I really think Detroit will give them a big run for their money in this game and maybe win, but for those reasons I stated, I'm going with Dallas. I think they get a bounce back win here. Patriots at Bills. Easy pick here. I'm picking the Bills. They are red hot right now in probably what will be a cold game, but I'm picking them. Josh Allen's looking good. Falcons at Bears. I'm not picking the Falcons. I'm picking the Bears. They've looked decent in the last couple weeks. Just please, guys, please beat the Falcons. That's all I ask. Raiders at Colts. This might be the Texans fan in me, but I'm picking the Raiders. They are hot. Something's going on with interim coach Antonio Pierce. He's got them riled up. They are 7-8, trying to stay in the playoff card race. I'm picking them. I don't want the Colts to win. Go Raiders. Rams at New York Giants. I'm picking the Rams. Easy pick here. They're playing well. They are probably going to make a wild card spot in the NFC. Giants, just terrible season. Cardinals at Eagles. I think the Eagles win here in what will be a closer game than maybe some think. Eagles need to not have it be a close game to get the morale back going, though. So I think they do win by a couple touchdowns here, but I do think Kyler Murray puts up some points. Saints at Bucks. I'm picking the red hot Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't know how you can't. I also don't like the Saints, so I'm not going to go with them. Derek Carr is terrible. I will continue to say it on this podcast. Tampa Bay all the way. Niners at Commanders. Easy Niners pick here. Commanders, I don't know who the hell they're starting this week. Niners just going to run away with the number 1 seed. I'm sorry to say, but it's going to happen. Panthers at Jacksonville. Not sure if Trevor Lawrence is going to play. I don't care. I'm not picking Carolina. Jacksonville has lost like 3 or 4 straight. They're not going to lose again. They're too good of a team to just mess up this much at the end of the season. Doug Peterson's too good. Trevor Lawrence is a gamer. They're going to right the ship here and beat Carolina. Dolphins at Ravens. Really tough pick. I like the Dolphins a lot this year. I picked up a lot of their players in fantasy, but I mean, Lamar Jackson's having an MVP caliber season with the Ravens, even though we weren't even sure he was going to play with them in the offseason. They're at home. They're so good at home. I got to pick Baltimore. Should be a great game. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Titans at Texans. CJ Stroud is back. He's going to play. He is going to win. I'm picking the Texans to win. Tennessee, they're done. Steelers at Seahawks. 2 teams fighting for a playoff spot in their own respective conferences. I just don't have any faith in the Steelers this year. I mean, I think Mason Rudolph is better than Trubisky, but I'm picking Seattle at home here. I think they've just been a little bit better this year and played better football, even though they have the same amount of wins as the Steelers. Chargers at Broncos. Crazy storylines coming out of the Broncos this week. Russell Wilson may be cut. He's not going to play the rest of this year. I'm going to be the donkey old Chargers fan that I am, and I'm picking the Chargers because I hate the Broncos. Enough said. They're horrible. I hope they lose every game for all time. Bengals at Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs. They right the ship here. They get back in the win column. There's no way they don't. Andy Reid's going to figure it out. Packers at Vikings for the Sunday night matchup. I am going to pick Green Bay in the upset in Minnesota. Minnesota's starting their 4th QB of the season. I just think Green Bay has showed a little bit more better play this year compared to the Vikings. Not in general, but compared to the Vikings. So I am going to pick them in the upset here. Hopefully gain a couple picks back. I'm just behind Corey. Andy and Caleb are right hot on my tail, and Leslie. It's going to be close. Week 17. Here we are, 2 weeks to go in the regular season. Thanks for tuning into the Schlabcast. Shaba.
All right, what's up, Bruins? Week 17 picks coming in. It's kind of weird knowing that there's an 18th week. I'm still not all that used to it. All right, the Jets going to the Browns. Browns been looking really good. Joe Flacco's been looking awesome. I think the Browns just continue on with that, so give me the Browns over the Jets. We got the Cowboys hosting the Lions on Saturday Night Football. I think the Cowboys are going to bounce back, go 8-0 at home this year, just kind of trounce the Lions. Although if the Lions come out playing pretty good defense and stay true to their game, I think it could be a little bit closer, but give me Dallas. Bills hosting the Patriots. I'm going to take Bills by a lot. Bears hosting the Falcons. I'm going to take the Bears. Bears have been playing pretty nice as of late. Actually got themselves a little bit in the playoff hunt. Don't think it's going to equal them in the playoffs, but give me the Bears. Raiders traveling to Indianapolis. Indy, another team looking like they want to get into the playoffs, but I think it's going to come up short. I think the Raiders actually travel well, and they're going to get to Indy and upset them. Rams going to the Giants. I'm just going to take the Rams. I think the Giants are just in a tailspin. Eagles hosting the Cardinals. Would love for a huge upset here, but I don't think the Cardinals have it in them. So give me the Eagles here. A little bit easier this week, in my opinion, too. Some of these are just obvious ones. Tampa Bay hosting the Saints. Tampa Bay's primed to win that division. I think they take it straight to the Saints, beat them probably about 30 to let's say 30-18. San Francisco hosting the Washington professional football team. They are just going to absolutely destroy them after getting manhandled by the Ravens last week. Jacksonville's going to host and beat the shit out of the Panthers. I think that goes without saying. Jacksonville fighting for their lives, trying to keep themselves in that playoff picture. This is where things get a little interesting, I think. Probably the game of the week, even though they kept it as a 10 a.m. game. Miami traveling to Baltimore. I think Baltimore on paper should be picked here, but I think Miami's got a little bit of fire left in them. Give me Miami. Let's take that upset. I'll probably change that. Houston's going to be hosting the Titans. I think they're getting CJ Stroud back. They need him, especially if they want any shot of getting to the playoffs. It's going to be real tough. They need Jacksonville and Indianapolis to lose here pretty much over both weeks, but I'm going to take them this week over the Titans. We got Seattle hosting Pittsburgh. Seattle's been on a tear recently. I think they continue that streak. Beat up on the shorthanded Steelers. We got the Chargers going to the Broncos. I think the Chargers are going to pull this one out. The Broncos are in a little bit of disarray. The whole stuff with Russell Wilson's just a big question mark. So even though the Chargers have had just a horrific season themselves, it's not as bad right now as it is for Denver. So give me the Chargers in another upset. We got Kansas City hosting Cincinnati. I think the Natty gets a little outpaced here. I think Kansas City pulls out a close one, although I don't trust them at all. And then the Vikings divisional matchup against the Packers. I would take the home team here, and since Minnesota's the home team, I'm going to go with them. And then we go Bruins Week 17 picks. Let's go Cowboys.
Guys, it's Andy, aka the Cali Bird, and I'm back to give my picks for Week 17. Starting off with the Thursday night game, we have the New York Jets visiting the Cleveland Browns, actually going on right now as we speak. I did go with the Cleveland Browns, short week, at home. Joe Flacco, just too hot right now. Arguably the comeback player of the year. Jets, while I give credit to their defense for playing so hard, their offense just cannot hold up their end of the bargain, so give me the Browns. Second game on the dock, which should be flexed in my opinion to prime time, we have the Detroit Lions visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit Lions coming off of a high, having just won the NFC North for the first time in 30 years. Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, just coming off of a loss in Miami. It is in Dallas. Dallas, I believe, is like 7-0 at home. Although seemingly it looks like they've struggled in away games, they've been a juggernaut at home. I seem to be going back and forth with this game. My head says the Dallas Cowboys because of their home field advantage, but I like the Lions right now. I like how physical and how tough they're playing right now. Lions could easily throw this one away, just coming off of that big high, winning the NFC North. I'm going to go with the Lions for right now, but I'm going to reserve the option to change. Moving on, we have the New England Patriots visiting the Buffalo Bills. New England Patriots somehow sneaking out that victory against the Denver Broncos. Bills, while they have been seemingly had a lot of close matchups last few weeks, Chiefs and then the Cowboys and then the Chargers, now playing the Patriots at home. While it is a divisional matchup, I don't expect this one to be that close, so give me the Bills. Moving on to my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons visiting the Chicago Bears. Atlanta Falcons coming off of that impressive victory, I have to say, against the Indianapolis Colts. Bears coming off of their victory against the Arizona Cardinals. If you've been following me in this pick'em at all, you already know who I'm going to pick. While I was wrong last week, Arthur Smith is always could be prone to resorting to his old ways and seemingly ignoring his all-star talent. Then Bears at home, it is a tough place to play. Soldier Field in December could be a little dreary and rough conditions. I like the Bears defense and I feel pretty confident in this pick, so give me the Bears at home. Next we have the Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Las Vegas Raiders coming off of that Christmas miracle against the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I guess I shouldn't call it a Christmas miracle, seeing that they pretty much held the lead the entire game, but considering that most people did not have them picked, it was a very impressive win. Colts, on the other hand, suffering that big loss to Atlanta. Pretty brutal loss, actually. At home, despite how both teams looked last week, I am going to give the edge to the Indianapolis Colts at home. Raiders, while they did win with that defense, they did have those back-to-back touchdowns in like 7 seconds. Aiden O'Connell, I believe, was only like 9 for 20 for 60 yards the entire game. So I don't have much faith in their offense, so give me the Colts. Los Angeles Rams visiting the New York Giants. Rams coming away with their Thursday night victory against the Saints. New York Giants suffering a close loss in Christmas to the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting for the New York Giants at home. It gives me maybe just a slight pause, but the fact that the Rams have been really hot lately and seemingly Stafford and that offense and McVay have seemed to get on a roll now. Despite being away, I like the Rams right now. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Arizona Cardinals suffering that loss to the Chicago Bears. Looks like Kyler Murray is missing another day of practice, so he could be questionable for this game. Regardless of whether or not he plays, I still like the Eagles' chances at home. They finally had a bounce-back win against the Giants after 3 consecutive losses. They have not looked themselves, but the talent should hold up. Cardinals are not a great team this year, so I think the Eagles get the win, and I think they get back on track. Moving on, we have the New Orleans Saints visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. New Orleans Saints suffering that loss last Thursday to the Rams, as I had mentioned earlier. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking down the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. NFC South divisional matchup, so we know it could be close, but I'm going to give the edge to Baker Mayfield and the Bucs at home. And Baker Mayfield, what can I say? He looks hot right now, so he's got all the momentum right now. It's just going with the hot team, so give me the Bucs. Next, we have San Francisco 49ers visiting the Washington Commanders. 49ers coming off of that brutal Christmas beatdown by the Baltimore Ravens. Visiting a Commanders team who just suffered a last-second loss to the New York Jets in a last-second field goal by Greg the Leg. San Francisco 49ers, the way better team. I think they bounce back easily, so give me the Niners. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Carolina Panthers suffering a loss to the Green Bay Packers, seemingly in the final seconds of regulation, just not having enough time to kick a field goal to potentially tie and or win the game against the Packers. Visiting a Jacksonville Jaguars team that's been a little bit up and down as of late, a little bit more down with Trevor Lawrence's injury status kind of up in the air. It seems like he's hurt again. That being said, Jacksonville Jaguars just the more talented team at home. It's going to have to take a lot for the Panthers to win, and they also don't have much to play for with only 2 wins. Jacksonville Jaguars, on the other hand, right on that cusp of possibly winning the AFC South or maybe securing another wildcard spot. Give me the Jaguars. Then we have another game which I think should have been flexed as well. The Miami Dolphins visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Miami Dolphins coming off of that impressive win against the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Baltimore Ravens coming off of, again, that beatdown of the 49ers on Christmas. Up until now, I pretty much picked Baltimore every single week. They've given me no reason not to, especially after this last game at home. But something about this game just feels like Miami has something to prove. I have every reason just to pick the Ravens, but my gut is just telling me something about the Dolphins. So as of right now, I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Moving on, we have an AFC South divisional matchup. Tennessee Titans visiting the Houston Texans. It's kind of a weird team this year. Couple that with the injuries to the quarterback. So looks like Ryan Tannehill was hurt, and then Will Levis took over for the past few weeks, and now looks like Will Levis is hurt. So back to Ryan Tannehill. Maybe Derrick Henry throws another pass. Regardless, visiting the Texans, CJ Stroud looks like he's going to be returning after a 2-week absence. Might have a little bit of rust, but just reasserting themselves in that AFC South. So give me the Texans. Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the Seattle Seahawks. Pittsburgh Steelers looks like they're still going to go with Mason Rudolph despite Kenny Pickett seemingly being healthy once again. They got that surprise, bizarre victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, visiting a Seattle Seahawks team that is pretty hot. They just seem to win these close games all the time. Last week against the Titans as well. At home, I just don't trust Mason Rudolph to duplicate what he did last week again at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. So give me the Seahawks. Moving on, we have the Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Denver Broncos. Chargers coming off of their close loss to the Bills, and Broncos coming off of their close loss to the Patriots. Biggest news of this week surrounding either team is the Broncos benching Russell Wilson, essentially terminating him in his time with the Broncos. Chargers look pretty much dead, visiting the Denver Broncos, who have something to play for. The benching does give me just a slight pause. I don't like when there's like a lot of internal bad blood and things like that. I feel like it clashed with the locker room, but the Chargers are just so bad right now and they got nothing to play for, so I still give the edge to Denver, so give me the Broncos. And then moving on, we have the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Cincinnati Bengals coming off of that brutal loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, visiting a Kansas City Chiefs team that just looked very abysmal on Christmas against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think Kansas City gets it turned around, and I think they get a big win. And then that takes us to the Sunday night game. There appears to be no more Monday night games for the rest of this season, at least regular season games. But for the Sunday night game for Week 17, we have a banger of a game between the Green Bay Packers visiting the Minnesota Vikings. Packers coming off of that narrow victory, just with moments to spare, beating the Carolina Panthers, and then the Vikings playing respectively and holding their own with Nick Mullins, but eventually losing out to the Detroit Lions. Both teams are just right on the cusp, fighting for a wild card spot right now. I'm going to give the slight edge to Minnesota, obviously, because of the home field advantage, though I don't feel great about Nick Mullins. But on Green Bay's side, they're also, like I had mentioned earlier, about internal conflict and things of that such. Just last week, cornerback Jair Alexander of the Packers had a flub of sorts, if you could call it, when he went onto the field at the beginning of the game and elected to be part of the coin toss when he was not in the right to do so. Essentially got suspended by the team for this week. I just don't like when things happen like that. It just gives me a bad vibe around the team. Not to mention he's one of their best players on defense, so in a really must-win game, I'm going to give the edge to the Vikings. And that's all I got for my Week 17 pick'em. Currently tied for second with Jeff out of 14 players. Caleb is sitting in fifth, just a couple wins behind. So just the last couple weeks, so the final stretch right here. Hopefully we can flip a couple spots and get to number one. But that's all I got. Again, thanks for tuning in. My name's Andy, aka the Cali Bird. Thanks for tuning into the Schlabcast. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment on all of our future videos and NFL content that we will be uploading the rest of this season and playoffs. Thanks again, and everyone have a happy new year. Peace.